Hey guys, it is Radlin Mendoza and John Gardner from Gardner and Mendoza Immigration Law here in Virginia Beach. Virginia, how are you guys doing today?
How's everyone doing out there?
Thumbs up. Hopefully you guys are feeling good. Hey Raquel, what's happening? Look, we can bring you on camera. Raquel, do you want to come on camera and hang out with us for a little bit?
Ooh, you translate the whole thing in real time in Spanish. That would be
Lisa
so
can come
awesome.
on camera too.
That would be so awesome.
Are we on the right? Okay, yeah, we are. I think Raquel wants to come on.
Yes,
she wants to talk about translating and all the good stuff that happens.
She's just going to translate in real simultaneous translation.
Exactly what she wants to do.
If you've never seen her do it, it's awesome.
Yes. Not camera ready.
Oh, boy.
Darn. Okay. If anyone wants to jump on camera with us, we're game. That would be super fun. I think this is a new feature.
Next week, Raquel.
New feature for business Facebook Live. So thank you all again for joining us this week. It's July 1st, 2020.
Yes, it's awesome.
I can't believe it. It's amazing how time flies.
Even in the quarantine, time is flying.
Time is flying. It's even going faster, I think. But today we are going to go through some of the similar things that we always go through every week. Of course, we're going to talk about DACA today. Specifically, should you file a new DACA application in light of the Supreme Court's recent decision? We're going to give you Virginia court updates and USCIS updates, immigration law updates, your frequently asked questions. John's going to go over some Virginia legislative updates. The word updates is happening a lot right now, but we're going to give you a lot of updates. And of course, if you don't know, we have opened a new office location in Newport News, and we are accepting appointments there. So we wanted to throw that out at the very beginning for those of you guys who have to dip out, not because you don't want to watch us, but dinner, plans, movie night, whatever it may be. And if you have any questions, please put them in the comments and we will get to them if we see them. And sometimes I scroll through and don't see the comment, and then I will answer the comment later. But our goal is to answer all the questions during the Facebook Live. So before we get into, are we talking about, we're talking about DACA first. Before we get into DACA, I want to thank our clients this week who have written reviews for us. And I'm going to read one because I'm bragging. I'm bragging about our team and I'm bragging about our law firm. I'm proud of us. And Natalie says, Gardner Mendoza PC are consummate professionals. They respond to your questions and concerns, whether it is day or late at night, or even on the weekend. Yay, team! They are extremely helpful and offer endless assistance and support during the daunting and complex immigration process. So that was a super sweet, kind, and very generous review of Gardner Mendoza. Sorry. So thank you, Natalie, and those who have left reviews this week. I also want to congratulate Norview High School senior Lachlan McClellan, who he submitted a video about immigration in America. That was his topic, and he submitted to a C-SPAN competition with 5,400 other video entrants, and he won honorable mention.
So cool.
And how amazing is that? So it's about immigration. He interviews a couple of teens in his high school. Their interviews are in Spanish and it's translated, and it's a very good story about these two young men and their journey through this immigration process and what they're going through right now. I also happen to be featured in the video, but I'm not the star of the show. These applicants are, these people going through this immigration process. So kudos to you, Lachlan, for highlighting such an important issue in the United States today. And I'm telling you guys, go check out the video on our Facebook page. This is a high school senior.
Yeah, super
and
cool.
He's definitely one to watch. You'll see what I mean after you watch this video. So thank you guys for checking that out, liking his video, and supporting our local teenagers and young adults.
Yeah.
All right.
And look at this. We got an old buddy in Colorado checking in. That is very cool. Very cool.
Chris, do you want to come on camera? Everybody we say, okay, I'm gonna hit the wave button.
Yeah.
Everybody we see, we're gonna be like, hey, you want to come on camera? But no, Chris, great to see you. Thanks for popping in.
Mm-hmm.
If you have an immigration question or just any question, put it in the comments. We'll be happy to answer.
The Racer 8 will be later there, Chris.
The what?
The Racer 8. Was it Racer 8?
I don't know what that is.
Anyway, yeah, we'll
Racer,
get back.
isn't that
No. It's
okay,
something
so
totally
something
different.
different.
Chris
Right.
knows what I'm talking about. Anyway, so moving right along. And also one of the questions that we already had that came in right at the beginning about the legislative updates. Are undocumented folks going to be able to get a license in Virginia? The answer is yes, but not July 1st. It's going to be January 1st, 2021. And I'll get into that in some more detail a little bit.
Yeah,
later.
Raquel said you've got to stay on.
Yeah.
You can't leave.
That's right.
All
Okay,
right.
so should we start with DACA? And get right back to it?
Absolutely. Let's jump into that discussion.
Right. Okay. So if you last Wednesday we talked about this in a lot more detail. The case itself. I'm not going to go through the detailed explanation of the case, but it was a big Supreme Court case, Department of Homeland Security versus Regents of the University of California. Basically, this was a DACA case. Most of you, I think, are familiar with DACA. This is a law that when folks have come to the U.S. when they are children, and that's when they came, even though they're unauthorized aliens in the United States at that point, they still are granted relief and they're eligible for work authorization and other benefits for limited periods, 2 years, and then they can renew it. That happened in 2012 and 2017. The Trump administration announced that they were going to wind that program down and they were going to end it. And litigation ensued. The Supreme Court ultimately weighed in last week and said that, at least for now, the program stays in place. And so that was wonderful news for those of you who have DACA. And what we've been doing since last Wednesday is finding out as much as we can about what that means now. So we know DACA for now lives for another day, another month, another year. And we know that folks can continue to renew their DACA, and we know that folks can now file for DACA if they want to. But there's a lot of questions swirling around with this right now. And so Radlin is going to talk a little bit about, okay, we won the case in the Supreme Court for the moment, and what does that mean now? Where do we go from here? All right.
Yeah, I think one of the main questions that we're getting right now from people in the community is, hey, should I file a new DACA application? People are trying to come in and make an appointment in order to do that. And that's kind of the $1 million question that everyone is asking right now. And we're not sure about the answer. And the reason is because there are risks in applying for DACA as a new applicant. And your case, if you're considering this, your case really has to be 100% completely evaluated to make sure it's the right thing to do to apply for DACA as a new applicant. One, do you have all the proof that is going to be required for the multiple years that you have to show that you've been living continuously in the United States? So that's a lot of years. That's many, many years. And do you have that? So when DACA initially came out, it was difficult enough to prove the physical presence in the United States that is required. And I feel like it's going to just be harder now. I think that USCIS is definitely going to put us to the task of getting documents and maybe rejecting documents. Affidavits are not going to be accepted unless they are backed up by some other documentation like credit card statements or school records. So we have to do a full evaluation of your case to see, are you the right candidate to apply as a new DACA applicant? The other thing is how risk averse are you? Do you like to gamble? So there's a possibility that because USCIS has no mechanism right now in accepting new applications, there's a possibility that they'll take your money, fee it in, and reject it and send it back and deny it, and so you've lost your filing fee. Okay, so it really depends on how willing are you to pay legal fees, pay filing fees, and if it's not accepted, all of that to go down the drain, so to speak. So the reason why a case has to be evaluated, just because of all the abundance of evidence that's going to be required in order to do a new application, and also the possibility that if your case is denied, is there going to be a referral to Immigration and Customs Enforcement? Are they going to give your name? You're putting your information out there, and this is a policy, and so a lot of things can change. There's nothing in stone here. So it really just depends. And right now we're holding for 21 days from the date of the decision to see if USCIS puts out any information. So, but there are definitely people out there who are filing their applications right now because they've been working on it, they've been doing it, they feel like they have a good case, and maybe they even have a backup. But those are all things that immigration attorney has to evaluate it and make sure you're the right person for a new DACA application. So again, the jury is still out. It's still the $1 million question. What you can do now. Okay, so I'm telling you what you can't do or what maybe you shouldn't do. One, if you think that you are a good candidate for DACA and filing a new application and I'm ready to do it, I don't care, I've been here all this time, I've been here since I was 2 years old, wasn't able to do it before, because maybe you were not the right age and you're the right age now in order to do it, and you're ready to do it, talk to us. Come and make an appointment and talk to us to see if all the ducks are in order and you would be a candidate for applying for DACA. And the other thing that you do, even before talking to an attorney, is what do you have? Go take an inventory to see, am I going to be able to show that I have the physical presence in the United States? And am I going to be able to show that through documentation all these years? So take a physical inventory of your documents, talk to your parents to see what they have, and you may be able to show that you have been here for the amount of years, and toss it all in a box, try to organize it, and that's something that you can do if you want to wait for the 21 days. Another reason you may want to file now that was talked about when we sat in on the American Immigration Lawyers Association, AILA University, discussing all of this with over a couple of hundred immigration lawyers, is there is the possibility that the filing fee is going to go up. So it would potentially be cheaper to do it now, but then if you lose that money, if they don't have the mechanism to accept, then you could be losing that money. So again, there's a lot to consider here. It's not, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna file it. There's a lot to consider, and you really, really just wanna make sure, as I say sometimes to my clients, we don't want you to just needlessly put your head in the mouth of the lion. If that mouth comes down on you, if you don't have what it takes to get DACA, if they yank DACA, and there's just so many considerations. We don't want to do harm to you. Okay, that's not what we're about. We want to help our clients get the benefit. We don't want to do harm. Is that a doctor's saying, or is that a lawyer's? Okay, so it's like the doctors, do no harm. We're not putting our clients in harm's way, and we're not going to file something that's going to jeopardize your status. So again, it's really super important to have it evaluated. I cannot stress that enough. So
how about, we've talked about the new applications, how about the folks who have DACA, have been renewing it for years? What do you say to them?
So yes, absolutely. If you've been renewing it for years, you are good to go to renew again. USCIS recommends that you renew that between 120 and 150 days. And we heard last week that other practitioners, and we're recommending this as well, if you have a year or less on your DACA, then renew it now. And I know that seems like, wow, that's a lot of time, but that way you will get more time on the back end. And so that is the should I say advice? That is the educational information that we are putting out today in this Facebook Live.
Not legal advice,
Right.
but just the thinking of all the immigration lawyers that we've been chatting with in these panels around the country right now. Because everyone's sort of looking at this now and trying to get their head around it and see what the best approach is going forward.
Right. And it's to, if you have a year or less on your DACA right now, go ahead and renew it. We are seeing really, really fast approvals of these renewals. And, you know, I'm going to just really quickly jump into USCIS furloughs. And that's in our updates, and kind of going out of turn here, but it also ties into DACA. It ties into any application that is being filed. So you all may have heard the news that USCIS issued furlough, you know, the potential for 13,400 USCIS employees being furloughed in the beginning of August, by August 3rd. And so that's a tremendous amount of workforce. So it's over half of USCIS employees. And let me just find it here in my notes. You know, if you Google this, you know, furloughs, USCIS, the newspaper articles are talking about the immigration system coming to a grinding halt. Okay, grinding halt. And BuzzFeed did an article and it said, you know, it's going to stop the whole immigration system, and nobody is even really paying attention to this. So, you know, John and I, our immigration law firm, the immigration law firms around the country, our communities that we assist and support, we know about this, right? We know how this is going to completely stall out our immigration system, but not everybody knows this, and not everybody really cares about this. You know, this is a special issue for a very small group of people in the United States, and many people outside of the United States. But that's something to keep in mind with the DACA renewals. And, you know, if your DACA expires in November, you know, don't wait until September to renew that. Do it now. You have to do it now, because there's a possibility that, you know, they're just not going to be able to process these in an expedited way, and then you're going to be left with no work authorization. And that's just really for any single application that you're thinking about filing. And I know I sound like a broken record here, but first in, first out. Okay, The sooner you get in line with the USCIS, the sooner you get to ride the ride. I mean, I kind of liken it to being in a well, you know, a Disney World ride. John and I have been to Disney so many times. We know what it's like to wait. What's the longest wait? The Pooh ride? I don't know. There's so many rides that you have to wait.
Space Mountain. I don't know.
Space Mountain. Yeah. So, you know, you wait.
Yeah,
but
there's no fast pass with
there's no fast pass with immigration, right? And so just file your case. You know, if you need help with it, if you need help and you need motivation from us to help you file it, and the assistance, because maybe you don't know the answer to a question or two, and that's keeping your application on your nightstand, right, for years. Who can relate, right? Just reach out to us. You know, let us help you do that, and let us help you get that case filed. Let us help you get in line so you can ride the ride. So, that's for DACA, and that's for any other applications. I'm nervous about this furlough. It's supposed to go from 30 to 90 days, and maybe it goes longer. I don't know too much about reduction in force, but I don't know too much about that. But I know that from the newspaper articles I've been reading, from some of the folks that I know that I've been working with for years and years and years at USCIS, they're freaking out. You know, it's just so much uncertainty for them, and that means it just means that, again, grinding halt is the word, or the phrases that have been used in the newspaper articles that I've been reading, and we just need to pay attention to it and get your cases filed if that's the case. So, all right. So if you guys have any DACA questions,
well, we had a question that came in at the very beginning, and I tried to jot it down, and you might be able to find it. Since 601As are taking longer, are we making sure the NVC is not closing cases before 1 year?
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I saw that. Alexandra says since 601 cases are taking longer now, are you guys making sure that NVC is not closing cases after 1 year, or do we have to keep in touch with them ourselves? No. So our clients who are out there, and we know about the NVC cases that are taking longer than a year, and for those of you who may not know, if you have no communication with the National Visa Center on your case for a year or more, then they will send you a letter stating that they're going to no longer process that case and send it back to USCIS. So yes, Alexandra, don't worry. we have you covered with these NVC cases that are pending for longer than a year. But thank you for that question. Let's see here. Do we have another question? I thought I saw another question. Let me just grab this real quick. Nope, no other questions? Okay. So
why don't we switch gears for just a minute, and then we'll get back to the President's Proclamation as well as some other immigration news. But before we get to that, I want to briefly touch on the Virginia state courts. I saw my Aunt Sue was watching earlier. Sue, I don't know if you're still there, but I thought you'd appreciate this. I've been a Virginia lawyer for so long now, Sue, that I'm even wearing pink shirts.
I love the pink. I think he's just wearing it for me because I love it.
No, it's because I'm a Virginia lawyer.
Okay, all right. I thought it was for
and
me,
because
but...
I love you. Okay, so here's the situation with the courts in Virginia Beach. As has been the case for several weeks now, criminal cases in courtrooms 1 and 2 are being heard as regularly scheduled, as are traffic cases in courtroom C. That's traffic courtroom C. Those are typically DUIs. Only folks that are directly involved in the case are allowed in the courtroom, so that's going to be the attorneys, witnesses, the defendant. Anyone else is allowed in the courthouse but not in the courtroom. You are going to be questioned when you go in about any potential COVID-19 symptoms, and you will have to have a mask, okay? The big change, though, is that starting today, traffic cases in courtroom A and courtroom B, as well as all civil cases that are set in courtrooms A and B, those cases are now also going forward as currently scheduled, okay? So that's a big change. That's as of today, because I've been telling you for several months now about all those cases being continued, because they have been. But starting today, if you have a traffic case in A or B or a civil case, those cases are going forward. And also, starting today, it started today, the Virginia Beach Juvenile and Domestic Relations District Court has begun hearing all matters, including trials and other contested cases. So, Virginia Beach is pretty much back online. So if you've got a case that's going on down there and you've just been waiting to hear about what's going to happen with it, they're going forward now. If you had a case prior to today, then that case has been continued and you should get notice from the court about your new court date. But if you have a case tomorrow or any time coming up in the next few weeks or months, make sure you come out of your COVID-19 slumber, find the paperwork, and find out when the court date is and make sure that you're there, because everything is back on schedule now for the most part. Okay, so that's the court update. And why don't we turn back now to, did you want to talk about the President's Proclamation, or do you want to move to other USCIS?
Let's hit a couple of other things first, okay. And then we talked about that last week. One thing I wanted to mention is that, let's see here. Well, where are these notes here? Hold on a second. Kind of jumping around the place here. Okay, so one thing I wanted to mention is that if you have received an RFE, a request for evidence for your case, so let's say, for example, you filed an I-130 petition and they say, hey, we need your divorce decree. You have 87 days to send us that divorce decree. And you can't get the divorce decree for whatever reason. Maybe the courts have been closed, they're backed up, they're backlogged, they're not going to be able to get it within the 87 days. Maybe you've tried. So if you have received a request for evidence, continuations to request evidence, the N14 for the N400, a notice of intent to deny, a notice of intent to revoke, notices to rescind, anything like that, and if you received that notice in between the dates of March 1st and September 11th of 2020, then you are going to have an additional 60 days to respond from the due date. So pay special close attention to the due date. They are different. So if you have a notice of intent to deny, you only have 30 days to respond to that. So you can tack on an additional 60 days if you receive that notice from March the 1st through September 11th. So this is super, super, super important, especially if you can't get the right documentation and you don't want to send in a partial response because they can make a decision on that partial response, and you don't want that to happen if they need the full documentation in order to approve your case. So that's one thing that I wanted to mention. And then also something very, very positive, USCIS has naturalized about 64,500 new citizens over the past month. So these are all the people who have been waiting to get sworn in to become US citizens but could not due to COVID-19. So that's incredible to have done that many swearing-ins, 64,500 in the past month. And so they are anticipating, USCIS is anticipating that they're going to completely get rid of their backlog by the end of July. So that's fantastic news, just in time for Independence Day, the 4th of July. And one of our clients wrote in, and I'll just go ahead and read her description of her dad swearing in.
Yeah, if you have one of these coming up and you're curious what the experience is going to be like,
right?
Here it is.
Yeah. So this is for our local immigration office in Norfolk, and this particular client, her dad was swearing in to become a U.S. citizen. The N-400 was approved months ago, and the dad was swearing in. So she says, all went smoothly. They were not very strict on me accompanying him and did not need to show the letter you sent me, but it was good to have. I just told them verbally that we did apply for an accommodation. They lined everyone who was there for the oath ceremony against the right side wall in the morning and took people in 12 at a time into a room with spaced out chairs. 2 applicant chairs in the corners had another chair available for the person accompanying them, like me. The ceremony was super short. We were out in 15 minutes. My dad is so excited. Thank you all for your help with his case. So that's what you can expect. And I've seen photos on Facebook of people getting their certificate of naturalization. One of our clients sent us a picture. We helped her at Citizenship Day, and she finally went in and got sworn in. So that was kind of a long journey for her, and I know that she contacted us throughout the process, and finally she got it, which is super excited. And she sent us a picture, so check that out on Facebook soon. But this is great news. Like I said, just in time for the 4th of July. We've had a lot of bad immigration news lately, and we've been really getting beat up by bad immigration news. But we have to take.
Well, the DACA decision was good.
The DACA decision was good, but the Proclamation was really bad.
Yeah,
we talked about.
Not the best.
Not the best that we talked about last week, and I guess I won't. There's a lot to talk about tonight, but just so you all know, the June 24th, 2020, President Trump's proclamation, it extended his April 22nd ban through December 31st, 2020, through to the end of this year. And that ban essentially it's going to prevent people who are in queue to get their lawful permanent resident status, their green cards, through an employment-based visa. That's just on standby now. So that's not happening from now until through December 31st, and it could potentially be renewed, right? And so the additional things that were added to that for June 24th is that there is going to be a suspension of issuance of visas like the H1Bs, the L1s, the J1, so that includes au pairs and work exchange visitor. So there are many, many jobs at the oceanfront right now for those U.S. citizens, lawful permanent residents, and those who are eligible to work. We've got a lot of jobs at the oceanfront because there are no J1.
No J1s,
visa
that's right.
holders there right now, and they're not going to be coming in at least until December 31st. And so, that's a big hit. If anyone has any questions about that, what to do, travel for people currently on H1B visas, that's up in the air. It's iffy. So if you have a question about traveling while you're on H1B visa status, I'm a very conservative immigration lawyer. And when my clients say, hey, can I travel under XYZ circumstances? My answer is usually going to be no, not unless you absolutely have to. So if you have a question about traveling, give me a call, run it by me, and we can go through it together and make that decision together. But if you don't like a conservative immigration lawyer's answer, you might want to go to a different immigration lawyer who's more relaxed about this stuff. But I can't even just fathom the idea of advising my client to leave the country and they're not being able to come back into the country. That just keeps me up at night. So, but anyway, give me a call if you have a question about that. Let's see here. We talked about citizenship. I think it's time for legislative updates, unless we've got any questions so far.
No, keep bringing the immigration questions if you have them. And yeah, I'm going to talk about some legislative updates here in Virginia. And before I do that, I want to say hi to my aunt and uncle who are checking in from South Florida. I love it. They see a lot of pink shirts down there as well, I'm sure.
I don't see any of my family members on this right now. It's a little concerning.
So we have three that are pretty big. They've been going back and forth, but they are now officially going to be law here. They are law, two of them. So I'm going to start with marijuana, and this is a pretty big deal, and we're curious to see what impact this will ultimately have, maybe on immigration. For now, we're thinking probably none, because the federal government can still, they're still going to define marijuana as a criminal conviction if you have it in your possession. But at least under state law now in Virginia, we've joined a lot of the other states that are trending in this direction by decriminalizing simple possession of marijuana. So if you looked at the new possession of marijuana code section, if you are in possession of marijuana, it is unlawful, but it's not a criminal charge anymore. Instead, you'll be subject only to a civil penalty of no more than $25. And you'll be given a summons. You can go to court and fight it if you want. You can mail in a payment if you want. It will not go on your criminal record because it's not considered a crime anymore. So if you're a marijuana person, that's great news.
Listen, if you're a marijuana person, however that may be defined.
Yes.
And you are not a U.S. citizen.
Yes, this is a good.
If you are a marijuana person, however that may
morning.
be defined, and you are a lawful permanent resident of the United States, and you are one day going to apply for citizenship, or you're going to one day travel outside of the United States and try to come back in. Not try to come back in, just come back in because you're a lawful permanent resident and you can. Just please be careful.
Right.
Please, if you have one of these, what is it, a summons, a citation, a fine? This is very risky business, guys, for non-U.S. citizens. This is no joke. This is no joke because you're inadmissible for marijuana possession that's over 30 grams. But you still have to prove that you're eligible to enter the United States as a permanent resident. So if something like this pops up, you may be paroled into the United States as a lawful permanent resident. So what that means is you're going to be admitted not as a lawful permanent resident of the United States. And they may say, okay, well, listen, prove to us that, it's under 30 grams, right? 30 grams is a lot, but, simple possession, maybe someone's being difficult. You know, I was going to say a jackass, but I didn't say that. Difficult. Maybe someone's being difficult, and they want to put you to the test. Like, we're going to parole you in until you can show that this was less than 30 grams. And that's a jailable. I mean, you can go to jail for that. You can sit in jail until you can prove that. So this is really, really serious stuff. So I don't think if you are, as John says, if you're a marijuana person, this is not carte blanche for you to get these tickets. You have to be seriously careful. If you're a marijuana person, and you're not a U.S. citizen.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're a marijuana person, make sure you're a U.S. citizen. Okay?
I mean, the rules are different. You know, in case you guys don't know that, as lawful permanent residents, and so sometimes people think they're U.S. citizens and they're not U.S. citizens. They think they're already a U.S. citizen because, you know, whatever circumstances. They came as a young person. Their parents haven't really given them a chat about their status here. They're lawful permanent residents, but they don't know that. I mean, it's not something that really comes up in everyday conversation. You know, no time is a really good time to have that discussion sometimes. And I feel that way, especially for nationals. You know, I mean, we don't necessarily like to bring up uncomfortable topics to our children or parents or family members about status. And so you just have to be careful. That's all. So don't.
Right. That's great. That's great advice. That's, you know, we are a republic, and so the states can do things that they do, but we also have a federal government, and there's a balance between the two. And Radlin is right. Again, just because Virginia has decriminalized it, or Colorado has, or whatever other state, the federal government has not decriminalized it in the way that they analyze these cases. And so if you're not a U.S. citizen, you definitely want to stay away from marijuana. If you are a U.S. citizen, that's up to you what you do. You're an adult, but it's not a crime anymore for you. It's a civil penalty in Virginia anyway. All right?
Okay, so it's personal possession of 30 grams or less of marijuana. Yeah. And I've submitted photos of what 30 grams of marijuana look like to USCIS, and my recollection is it's kind of a lot. But still, even a simple possession, sometimes, right, the ticket's not going to say how much it was. It's not going to, maybe it says a joint.
Right. If you are not a U.S. citizen, just stay away from it. That's the best simple advice that we can give you. Okay.
Yeah. Drink a Rockstar matcha green. I don't even know.
All right.
Calming teas. I have no idea.
Okay, so that's one big, and I was specifically asked about that last week by someone, and so I wanted to make sure to circle back around and address that. And that new law is effective, as I said, today, July 1st.
Yeah, that happened today.
The other law that is official now and has become effective deals with in-state tuition. Students who meet all of the regular requirements that somebody else, that a U.S. citizen or a Virginia resident would typically have to fulfill in order to have in-state tuition. As of today, this also is effective July 1st. The bill states that students who meet these criteria shall be eligible for in-state tuition in Virginia, regardless of their citizenship or immigration status. So, if you're a resident of Virginia and you meet all the requirements, non-immigration requirements, we're just talking about the other requirements to be a citizen, to be considered a resident, you know, length of time living here, that kind of thing. Your immigration status does not matter anymore in terms of getting in-state tuition. So you are eligible for in-state tuition.
That's fantastic. Fantastic news.
Yeah, that is fantastic news.
See, more good news. We should definitely not focus just on bad news. All this good news.
And then finally, we have Senate Bill 34, and this will go into effect on January 1st, 2021. And this is going to be a law that will provide the issuance of a driving privilege card to folks who are eligible, okay? This is a little bit different than an actual driver's license, and it's not going to confer any other benefits to that person. They can't vote. They can't do anything else that you might be able to do with an actual driver's license. It's not an official form of identification for getting on an airplane or anything like that, okay? This is simply a driving privilege card. It will allow you to drive in the Commonwealth of Virginia. You're going to have to show certain things to get it, including that you have paid taxes and from income that you received in Virginia within the last 12 months, or that you were claimed as a dependent on somebody else's tax return, and that you're not in violation of any of the insurance requirements that would otherwise be required for you to have a driver's license. But if you can show those things, then you are going to be eligible, regardless, again, of your immigration status, to have a driving privilege card. So you will be able to drive, assuming, of course, that you can pass the driving test. You're going to have to meet all the other requirements, but lawful presence in the Commonwealth of Virginia, which is currently a requirement, is no longer going to be a requirement for one of these cards. Supposedly, they are not going to share this information. If you go apply for one of these cards, they're not going to share this information with any other agencies. You know, that's one of those, keep your fingers crossed. We'll see as this starts to roll out if they keep that promise. I hope that they will. I think that they will, because I think this is really a safety issue. What was driving this whole push, pardon the pun, was primarily safety. It was to have, we know that a lot of folks are driving in the Commonwealth of Virginia that don't have a driver's license. We know this is happening and has been happening for many, many years. And the thinking on this is, okay, look, if we know it's happening, then let's create a path for these folks to have an official driving privilege card, so that at least we know that they have insurance, we know that they know the driving laws in Virginia, that they know what the rules are, and that they've passed the test and they've proven that they are a competent driver. So January 1st, there are hoops that you have to go through here, and I would encourage you, we're going to be offering help with these. So if you're one of our existing clients in any capacity, please give us a call, because we're going to be helping folks with this, because there's going to be things that you have to get together, just like any other immigration case. This is not an immigration case. It's going to feel like one, because you're going to have to prove things in order to show that you're eligible, and we're going to be able to help you with that. So I would implore you to give us a call if you're interested in this, because you want to start getting all your paperwork together now, because on January 1st, when this hits, you want to be ready to roll. All right, so that's another bit of really good news for our clients. I know a lot of people personally and professionally, who are going to be really, really happy about this, and it's going to be a game changer for them. It really is.
Yes.
All right. So
a lot of our clients,
those are the
all they care
updates.
about. It's not all they care about, but
driving is important.
Driving is so important, especially here in the Hampton Roads area, where we don't have public transportation. And
working is difficult if you can't get around easily.
Yes. When we tell our clients, please don't drive, just take an Uber everywhere, they just look at us like we're crazy. So let us help you get that documentation together. Give us a call if you need help.
This has been in the works. This has been in the making for a long, long time. I mean, there are a lot of people behind the scenes that have been lobbying for this for years. And so to see this finally happen is really, really cool. And I hope that we can help a lot of people get this, because it's going to be great for them. Really great.
Yes, absolutely. I want to give a shout out to my Canadian cousin, Roy. Happy Canada Day. It is Canada Day today.
It's Canada Day.
So all of our clients out there who are from Canada, and all the people out there, whether you're a client or not, happy Canada Day.
Happy Canada Day.
That's right.
Take off to the Great White North. Remember that?
Yes. U.S. citizen Canadian, my Canadian cousin, Roy. I forgot how we're related, but we are related somehow. I think his middle name is Mendoza. I think that's how we...
I think you both love Shawn Mendes, is that?
No, that's not it. Oh, right. Sean's from Toronto.
Yes, he is. Of course.
I don't know. He doesn't seem like a Shawn Mendes kind of guy, but who knows? I'm not going to let the long hair, we shouldn't be like, oh, he doesn't like Shawn Mendes because he looks like a rocker.
Yeah, Geddy Lee is probably more his speed.
Yeah.
Also a Canadian.
Absolutely. And then also, congratulations to Letitia. She has come on our Facebook Live. I was just talking about you, Letitia, how you swore in to become a U.S. citizen today. Yay! 2 thumbs up. Congratulations, that's awesome. I know you were kind of freaking out about the whole shutdown and when you were going to get sworn in. And we're super happy that it happened for you. If you want to put in the comments how quick it was. I mean, we've had some clients comment about, it was really short, pretty straightforward. But if you want to put in the comments, or, maybe I'll bring you on if you're good with that. And you can tell people what it was like. Let me know. Not to put you on the spot, but yeah, to put you on the spot, just we're here to help. We're here to help everyone. But if you don't want to and you're not camera ready, it's okay. You can pop it in the comments. But thank you so much. We have another person, Miss Hilda. She has a question about her case specifically. Miss Hilda, I will have Sarah, and I'm sorry, if someone wants to write this in Spanish, my Spanish is not Facebook Live ready. But I will have Miss Sarah contact you tomorrow about your case regarding the question that you put in the Facebook Live comments, which was in Spanish. And the cool thing is, one of our former interns, she sent me a message knowing that my Spanish is like D+ Spanish. She translated it for us and sent it to me. But Miss Hilda is asking about her case specifically. And Miss Hilda, like I said, Sarah will get in touch with you, and she will clear that up and talk to you about that.
Raquel's Spanish is definitely Facebook ready.
Oh yeah, I know. She's up next. She's gonna come on next week. All right. So Raquel also says, also saw protective orders have a firearms questionnaire. Order now starting July 1st could be something to look out for immigration clients. Yes, absolutely. Firearms are also very dangerous territory for non-U.S. citizens. Possession of firearms, discharging a firearm. So yes, that is something for sure for lawful permanent residents. You may feel safe in your status, but we know for a fact that a firearms charge, and there are a couple of different kinds, can get you in big trouble.
Yeah, and I've doing criminal defense for 20 years. You really can get in trouble easily with a firearm. It doesn't take as much as you think. It's not like you got to shoot somebody to have a problem with it. So definitely be super careful.
Right, brandishing. That's the word that I was looking for.
Yeah,
that's the criminal defense.
That is that's what it is.
Okay, awesome. So one more thing, immigration court. Well, it's probably not the last thing, but immigration court updates for Arlington. They are going to resume non-detained hearings on July 20th for Arlington court, immigration court. If you have court coming up, whether you're in Arlington, whether in New York City, no matter where you are in the country, you can call the 1-800 number, and I'm gonna just rattle that off. It's 1-800-898-7180. You can put your A number in that, it's kind of a electronic phone thing. Put your A number in, and it will tell you when your court date is. So sometimes we have to check that every month with some of our clients just to make sure that nothing has changed, and if they've changed something, they've notified us. But sometimes things happen and we don't get the notification. So we are always on that 1-800-898-7180 number, just checking our clients' A numbers. And even when clients come in and we're trying to figure out when the court is, we use that number. So you can use it too if you've got a court hearing coming up and you want to check when your court is, or even what your case status is. So let me just check to see if we have any other questions here. Do we have any? Did we get through our?
I think that's it.
Virginia legislature. We did that already.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're right on schedule. We're right on schedule.
Okay. So wait a minute. Somebody did ask a question. Hold on a second. It was about. Okay. Yeah. Here we go. Mean says, will USCIS continue N400 interviews in August during furlough, or will they stop interviews again? I hope that they don't stop interviews.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to be severely backlogged. I think that our office is probably going to go down to, just a handful of employees here in Norfolk. And again, it's supposed to be affecting 60% of USCIS employees. So just imagine if there were 60% fewer people here working in Gardner Mendoza, work would completely slow down. And I think that's going to happen. They're going to have to figure out some efficiencies. People who work for USCIS and who are in the higher up positions who know they're not going to get furloughed because they're exempt from that, they are definitely trying to figure out a way in order to serve people in the most efficient manner possible. But I don't think they're going to stop interviews. I just think they're going to just be really, 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 really delayed. I'm so sorry to say that, on top of all the other delays that our community is facing right now and waiting, patiently have been waiting. I think we've been saying be patient since March, be patient. And it looks like we're going to have to be even more patient with these furloughs. Hopefully it doesn't last longer than 30 days and USCIS gets the funding that it needs to continue.
Yeah, we'll get through this.
Okay, let me see. I saw another... BJ has a question. I'm not sure. Okay, say, would it be illegal to still work from home, be furloughed, and receive back pay until my EAD card arrives? My O1 will expire before my EAD arrives. Okay, would it be illegal to still work from home, be furloughed, and receive back pay until my EAD card arrives? So... I guess my question is, are you furloughed and receiving some sort of, a reduced pay? I'm not quite sure I answered the question. Generally speaking, if you don't have work authorization, then you're not supposed to be working. So that's the general answer. If you don't have work authorization, you're not supposed to be working. You do not have permission to work in the United States. And I know there's kind of an overlap here, BJ, just from remembering from a couple last time. There is, I will say, with regard to if you're married to a U.S. citizen and you are filing a marriage adjustment case where you're getting lawful permanent residence through your U.S. citizen spouse, and you have been working without authorization, the immigration officer is going to approve your case if that's the only negative aspect of your case. I'm saying that, but I'm not telling you that you should work without authorization. So, but many of our clients have, and this is definitely a concern for our clients, but there is guidance on that for immigration officers that, they should approve the case even if this is a negative aspect, right? My cousin is asking a question, Roy, since Terry was technically brought here as an illegal infant, would DACA be beneficial to him or straight to citizenship even though he is 22 now? Yeah, we're gonna have to discuss that off camera. He was not brought here as an illegal infant. Why are you saying that? He's not. Okay. First off, he was not brought here as an illegal infant. Okay, so stop saying that about your son. And it's okay if he was, but he wasn't. So let's talk about that, Roy. Shoot me a message on Messenger. Yes. Is this it's a very gray area. Is this something I need to answer yes on the interview? Yes, it is something that you would have to answer yes on the interview. So one of the questions is, have you worked without authorization on the I-45? You've already filed the I-45, I believe. So you check no on that at the time of your interview. When they're going through the litany of questions on the 45, you are going to have to answer yes, change that no answer to yes. So hopefully that has answered your question, BJ. And my buddy from middle school, Rodney, has joined us. Rodney, what's going on, buddy? When are we gonna come over for dinner? He's always putting these delicious meals on his Facebook page, and like seafood and smothered chicken and all this yummy stuff, and no dinner invite. Anyway, it's all right. Maybe now's not the right time.
Wow.
It's coronavirus.
I mean, you're never going to want to come back after that, right?
Okay, let me wave at him so he's not mad at me. We're seagulls together. He knows I'm just messing with him. All right, guys, I don't think we have any more questions. Rodney, do you have any questions? Rodney, listen, we got rid of all of our carpets here in the office, so.
It's all gone.
It's all gone. It's all hardwood now. Really thank you guys for coming on and asking the questions. It's way more fun when you guys are asking the questions, because then we get to kind of be on our toes.
That's
and
right.
And stretch our knowledge and our memories.
Plus, we're back in our office today.
Yeah, we're back in our office. Do you guys see the ring light back there?
Yeah,
we went back and forth about whether to use the ring light, but
yeah,
and here we are with it.
This is a little different setup and a different lighting than we usually have. I am going to need some recommendations. If you could just shoot me an email, jcg@gmlaw.net. I think I'm going to need like a good powder to do something about this shining up here.
Hey, we're not going to talk about what we look like on camera. Okay?
If you're a makeup person and you know about this stuff, TV stuff, let me know. I'd appreciate it.
Every Wednesday, we have to look at ourselves. It's not easy, guys. It's not easy. But
If
anyway.
you've done makeup in the film industry or news industry, private message me, okay?
That would not be an email, honey. That would be through Messenger. But that's okay.
I don't want.
Anyway, guys, listen.
Okay.
Reach out to us
Yep.
if you have any questions at all about anything we've talked about. So we have our email address, general email address. It's info@gmlaw.net. You can always call us, 757-464-9224. You can shoot John or me an email, Radlin, RADLYN @gmlaw.net if you wanted to come straight to our inboxes, or John's JCG@gmlaw.net. And of course, Messenger. All of it is private communication, and we'll be here again next Wednesday. So please like our page, share our page, and like Lachlan's video. He's awesome, and we're super proud to have been.
And
a
if
part
you
of
want to
that.
come visit us in Newport News, if you're making an appointment and that's where you'd prefer to see us, let the person know. Okay, let us know.
Alexandra has a question. Any idea when DMV might open again? I don't know the answer to that question. Sarah's always answering the DMV questions. We don't have. Do we have an update on that?
No, I don't have it with me. Can you send me a separate email and I'm gonna get an answer for you. jcg@gmlaw.net. Okay, because I know that they were open for some limited things already.
Yes.
So they are not totally closed, and I don't know exactly what it is you're trying to do over there, but if you could shoot me an email, and then I'll see if I can get some updated information for you, okay?
Awesome.
All right?
Honey, you did a great job tonight.
You
Great
did.
legislative updates.
Yeah, you did a great job, too. You know a lot about immigration law.
2 thumbs up, guys. Hey, I've got some of my family members on now.
There you go.
Excellent.
All right,
Filipino
guys,
time, always late.
That's right.
All right, guys. Have a great evening.
Take care.
Have a very safe 4th of July. God forbid you get in trouble. Call John up. All right.
Bye, Sue. Bye, Joe.
Bye, guys. Take care. Thank you.